Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel Let's Talk Boxing. I wanted to bring this breakdown earlier in the day for the fight of Terence Crawford against SHAWN Porter. To be honest with you, I wanted to bring it earlier in the week, but unfortunately I've been absolutely swamped this week, and I'm sorry to be bringing it just, well, I don't know, 6-7 hours now before the fight is actually due to occur. I'm hoping that all the guys in Britain who are out there watching the boxer card will enjoy some entertainment in between the fights, the two cards, and hopefully all the other viewers in the United States, hopefully this gives you guys something to look forward to in the build-up, right? So I'm sorry that it is coming so late, but hopefully it can still entertain you guys a little bit prior to the fight. I want to talk about a couple of key issues that I think could settle this fight, could decide the fight, because a lot of people seem to have the view that this should be the bull versus the matador. SHAWN Porter's going to come in there like a bull, trying to steamroller Terence Crawford, who's going to have to try and box and keep on the outside and stuff like that. I don't think that narrative is necessarily true. And I'm going to show you why in a few clips here. First and foremost, what I want to show you is how, when you mess with the distance, it can actually make Bud Crawford a little bit tentative. When you do that with patience and you change the patterns of attack so that he doesn't know what's coming next, are you going to come inside or are you not? If he leads off, are you going to step back or are you going to punch with him? If you do these sorts of things, change height dynamic with your attacks as well. If you do these sorts of things whereby he cannot compute your pattern, it makes him a little bit tentative early in the fight. And I'm going to show you a few clips from the Mean Machine fight and also from the Kell Brook fight to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And when you've got really good timing and your attacks are sudden, which is what Kell Brook is very capable of doing, but of course so is SHAWN Porter, Bud can have some issues. Now, Kell, of course, is way past his best. Had he not been past his best and his punch resistance had not gone, that shot that did eventually stop him would not have stopped him. And then you're talking about a much more interesting fight had this been a few years ago, because there were large portions of that fight where Kell was outboxing Terence Crawford. Now, SHAWN Porter, of course, fought Kell Brook. He lost the fight. But there are certain elements they share. They're very, very different in terms of their ability to fight. Their style of fighting is very different. But SHAWN Porter, like Kell Brook, can be sudden with those attacks. And he can get on the back foot. We saw it happen against Ugas so early in the fight. So we know that SHAWN Porter does have some decent distance control when he wants to employ it. So what I want you to do here is look at this fight and look at these examples and look at how, when Mean Machine is patient and when Kell Brook is patient, Bud is unsure of what to do. Does he jump in or does he not jump in? Here he's trying to compute. And Mean Machine is on the edge of range, right? Again, everyone was talking about Mean Machine's going to come and bring war, edge of range. And can you see how Bud threatens to throw shots here? But look, he sort of pulls back. He's not committing. He's unsure. I haven't quite got the distance. Do I go in or not? He lands a body shot there, Mean Machine. And you can see Bud is itching at that. He wants to get something off and he couldn't. And he got out jabbed there. And again there. And that time, Mean Machine turned out as well, so it turned off of the line and it caused him to win that exchange. Now, when we move over to the Kell Brook example, you can see again, Kell's on the edge of range. He's threatening to attack, doesn't attack. Bud decides this time he is going to commit and he ended up getting out jabbed. And not only did he get jabbed in the face with a stiff jab, because Kell then came back out, pulled back out, the attempted counter of Bud fell short. And again, you're going to see more examples such as that. Again, there, Bud led off with the jab. Kell just leaned back out of range, came back with a solid jab, and leaned out of range again. He's messing with the range of Bud, who's yet to really find the patterns. Can you see that? Just making him fall short, very patient. And again there, but this time Crawford decides I'm going to walk him down. He got caught with a left hook. He's thrown a bunch of shots there, which adds pressure, but he hasn't landed anything on Kell. And there you saw Kell threaten to throw a jab. It was a misdirection. Again, we're talking about changing the patterns of attack. And he came around with a left hook, right? Threw a right hook there. Bud rolled with it, but he got clipped and didn't land in return. Again here, Bud falls short. Kell this time there on that occasion, did you see how he came inside? On that occasion, he did come in. He threw a shot and then he slipped twice. He hadn't done that up until now. Well, this is just designed to mess with the timing of Bud Crawford, because the next time he throws that jab, Kell steps out. So this time Bud thought, I've read his pattern, he's going to come inside, tries to counter. But he falls short because this time Kell pulled back. And again, what happens here the next time? Is he going to go in, Kell, or not? Throws a body shot. So because of that long body shot, and Crawford was a little bit unsure, he just stepped back. He got clipped with the body shot. So it's a scoring shot there from Kell, and nothing came back from Brook. If you carry on Crawford, again there, threatening to come in with the jab, gets caught. So you can counter him. Again there, he went to throw the right hand. Did you see that? Bud looked to throw the right hand, couldn't quite find the range, got countered. So when you're sudden and your timing's on point, you can get Crawford to try and commit and then land a shot. Again, Crawford here looks tentative, doesn't he? He looks like he's not sure what to do. Now, he's very good at applying pressure. So all this requires a lot of focus from Kell Brook. And this sort of thing can tire out an opponent. But again, that right hand falls short. He's not having success. That time, Kell does come inside and follows up with shots. Can you see this pattern consistently playing out here? So with Shawn Porter, who's capable of getting on the back foot and making these sorts of sudden attacks happen, and he has the ability to be able to offset what Crawford wants to do by making him think, he could actually cause him problems. Now, what you saw there in that clinch is the physical strength of Bud Crawford. He has this is why I've paused it here. I will come back to this later, but he has a background in wrestling. I'm not sure if it was high school or college, but he used to wrestle. And he is a very physically strong dude. Don't presume because he came from a lighter weight category that he doesn't have that physical strength. He does. And I'll show you more clips later against Felix Diaz where you can see some of that. So this idea that if Shawn Porter comes inside, he's going to bully Terence Crawford physically, that's not necessarily true at all. And this is why he can't be one-dimensional. But when you keep him guessing, if you can make him tentative and mix it up between coming inside and staying on the outside and luring him in, making him overcommit, not sure, am I going to throw this right hand, can it quite reach, make him fall short, land those big powerful up jabs that he can throw, or start landing over the top right hands when he's overcommitted, then maybe you can start to cause him some serious problems. You could walk him onto shots. But you saw that physical strength there. Here are a few more examples of how he's made Bud tentative with the unpredictability of what he's going to do. But as you can see, when he is going to attack, it's sharp, it's sudden, there isn't much of a tell there. You know, like there, he led with a lead right hand. Prior to that, he was just throwing jabs. Before, you saw him throw an uppercut. So that variation needs to be there. Having said that, one of Bud's best attributes, and it's one of the best in the sport, is his incredible balance and his ability to produce power off of the back foot. Now, one of the ways to produce power off of the back foot is to actually throw. If you're practicing, this is for the young fighters out there maybe, or guys that are training out there, it's difficult sometimes for trainers to convey to a fighter how to produce power off of the back foot. Well, I'm going to give you a little tip. Let's say you want to throw a straight right hand moving backwards. How do you produce the power? Well, imagine you are throwing an uppercut, right? And you are leaning off of the lead foot to do it. So imagine you're in an orthodox stance, you shift your weight onto that front foot, and as you launch that lead uppercut, you're launching the power. The pivot comes from the front foot. And instead of launching yourself forward into the shot, you're actually launching yourself up, sort of towards the air, as though you're a rocket. That's where that motion of power is leading to. You're not going forward. The majority of fighters, when they want to produce power, their instinct is to launch themselves forward. So whether it's a hook or a right hand or a jab, you're pushing off in a forward trajectory, often off of the back foot. It can be off of the front foot if that's how you choose to distribute your weight. But the mental focus is, how can I push through the opponent? Not with an uppercut. With an uppercut, you're moving upwards. Well, as you move upwards, instead of that lead foot pushing you towards the opponent, you're pushing backwards. And that enables you to create almost like a launch pad, but you're moving backwards. You're still producing that force. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well. One day I'll do a little video where I actually show you with my own feet what I'm talking about. But Bud is superb at doing this, at changing the weight from forward to almost an upwards motion, but using the ball of his foot to launch himself back when he's doing it. And he's able to produce a lot of power when he does that. But additionally to doing that, he's also very, very good at not throwing a punch and just adjusting quickly, adjusting his foot positioning quickly to create space for himself to throw a big shot. So let's look at some of the examples here of if Shawn Porter tries to rush in too consistently and he is predictable with that. Look at how good Bud is at quickly shifting weight and landing a lead uppercut on an opponent. He'll also change the angles on you. You see him here against Mean Machine. Look how he's shifting to the side here. He'll shift to the side there with a little bounce. Look how he's changed the angles. It forces Mean Machine to rotate, and now he's under serious pressure. Lead power shot here, but look at that little bit there. That's the bit I loved so much. Let me just give you a little rewind here. I want you to look at this little shift, this little bounce here. Ready? He's just going to create a new angle and space. He jumps in there, and then he leads with that uppercut. He faked as though he was going to step around Mean Machine. But really what he's doing is adjusting to create space for that uppercut and to create the leverage for it. There, you see that? That little... It caused Mean Machine to cover up, expecting as though he was going to come in either with a straight left hand or to bounce to the side of him. Instead, he generates that space again with a little hop back, bang with the lead uppercut. Something that he doesn't expect to come, and that's a big shot, and that's what starts the end of Mean Machine. You can see it as well with Bud's general step back and lead uppercut against Diaz. We'll show you a few examples there. Diaz coming in with weight lift shifted over the front foot. It's a recipe for disaster. There's that hop back. There's the uppercut. That time it wasn't a lead uppercut, neither was that one. But it tends to be with a lead uppercut. It can be either hand, though. If he's orthodox or southpaw, that one's a lead uppercut. He is, of course, a fantastic switch hitter. And his timing with his switch hitting is fantastic as well. And he produces a lot of power regardless of whether he's orthodox or southpaw. So for me, the best part of Bud Crawford's game is that ability to fight off the back foot. He can put you under a lot of pressure, and if you decide to try and bum rush him, you're still getting caught with big shots. Here I want to show you Bud's physical strength in the clinch. So if Shawn Porter's just coming in and decides, you know what, I'm going to try and bully this guy, he might not have the physical advantages, even though he always seems to have them. Having said that, one of the things Bud does when he is under incessant pressure like this is push you away. So he's very solid in the clinch, and that is the wrestling background. He's not actually throwing punches. So if Porter does get inside consistently and stays there, he might realize that actually I'm forcing Bud to wrestle with me, but not a lot is coming back. So even if he's messing with my balance on the inside and he's pushing me and I'm not getting many shots off, even if I'm landing one, maybe two per exchange, and he's not landing anything, I'm winning those exchanges. And I want you to see the examples of this here. You can see the pressure that Diaz is putting him under. It's incessant. He grabs him there. He's not doing anything there, Bud, but he pushes him off. Again, he tried that step back uppercut. Did you see that? Let's give a little rewind to that. There, okay? It didn't work for him that time. He got smothered, did Bud Crawford. There. Didn't really land. But when he grabs him, he just pushes him off. He ragdolled him. That's the physical strength, but pushing doesn't win you points. There he lands a little uppercut. Didn't really land flush, though, and they're back in the clinch. And again, what does he do? He's very good at nullifying Diaz on the inside, as you can see. Palm to the face, pushes him away. That time, Diaz landed a little hook to the end as he pushed him away. If Porter is able to get on the inside and force Bud to work, but do it in an unpredictable manner whereby he is sudden with his entry point, he might be able to land a shot on his way in and then stay inside, make it messy, and stop Crawford from being able to work, except for when he's pushing him back. If he then decides, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk now and lure Crawford in, that unpredictability could make Bud a little bit more tentative and force him to go to work, really start taking risks. How do I believe this fight will go? I believe that Bud Crawford just has a little bit too much in terms of his all-round game, and I think maybe Shawn Porter has declined ever so slightly. So I'm leaning towards Bud Crawford here. I think there are going to be some very uncomfortable moments for him. Look out for the elements we've spoken about here and let me know what your views are on this fight. Tell me your predictions, and if you think there are any other little idiosyncrasies to pick up on in this fight that I haven't mentioned here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. God bless.